Welcome to the video on types of foundation. In this video, you will learn about different types of foundation, along with examples, and the criteria for selection of the foundation type. Foundations are broadly of two types: shallow foundations and deep foundations. As the name suggests, shallow foundations are near to the ground level, whereas deep foundations run deep below the level of the earth. But, how do you technically differentiate between the two? In a foundation, the depth of the foundation, below the ground level, is less than, or equal to, its width. Examples of shallow foundations include pad foundations, in which a pad, or a slab, is spread around the column end. The strip footing is a continuous strip of concrete that serves to strip a load-bearing wall across an area of soil. A raft foundation is composed of a continuous slab of reinforced concrete below the building. It carries all the columns and the load-bearing walls together. Sometimes, the building is not on a level surface, but on a sloping ground, like that of a hill. In these cases, the footings are also not at the same level. They end up changing elevations, and therefore, require a step in the grade. Hence, stepped footings are used, which allow depth of footings to transition from one elevation to another. Now, in deep foundations, the depth below the ground level can be of any length greater than the width of the foundation. Some of its examples: a caisson foundation acts as a watertight retaining structure. It is primarily used for underwater foundations, in bridges, dams, etc. It is a prefabricated hollow box, or cylinder, sunk into the ground to some desired depth, and then filled with concrete, thus forming a foundation. In drilled shaft foundations, and then filled with rebar steel and concrete. Most drilled shafts require a steel casing, in the form of a steel plate, rolled and welded, to form a large diameter pipe. This pipe is then used to facilitate the shaft excavation. In pile foundation, shell is used, which is basically a long cylinder of a strong material, such as concrete. The cylinder is pushed into the ground to act as a steady support for structures built on top of it. A pile cap, in the form of a thick concrete slab, is rested on top of the piles. This gives a level surface for the superstructure to be built upon. You will learn more about the major foundation types in the upcoming modules. So, how do you choose which foundation type to use for your building? Well, the selection of the foundation type depends on two major factors: the elements made from the building above, and the soil condition, in terms of its strength and bearing capacity. Let's take a look at how each of these factors help engineers decide on the foundation type to be used. Firstly, depending on loads from the building. In case of low-rise buildings with large span, the extent of loading is relatively modest. So, shallow foundation is preferred in this case. High-rise buildings with short span will have high loads. The deep foundation is provided in such cases, as the ground at greater depth is highly compacted. For framed structures in multi-story building, where loads are concentrated at the point of application, the use of deep piles is common. If the loads of the buildings are uniformly distributed, the piles are not needed. Water foundations, in bridges, dams, etc. It is a prefabricated hollow box, or cylinder. Are uniformly distributed, the piles are not needed. Now, depending on the soil conditions. When the soil close to the ground surface is strong enough, and capable of supporting structural loads, shallow foundations can be provided. When the soil close to ground surface is not as strong, and is incapable of supporting structural loads, the hard rocky strata is searched for, under the ground. In some cases, the hard strata is found very deep inside the earth. So, deep foundations are suitable for such cases. When the ground has low bearing capacity, deep foundation is required at that place, whereas, uniform stable ground, needs relatively shallow foundation. In grounds having differential settlement over the building plan, shallow, mat foundations are employed. This enables a common platform for all the columns. Level of the ground also affects foundation selection. If the ground is not leveled, and has gradient slope, then, stepped foundation may be preferred. So, these are the basic types of foundation, about which, you will learn more in the upcoming modules. In the next video, you will learn to download, and install, the SAFE software, for foundation analysis and design. Thanks for watching.